Okay, so I'm just going to get started and maybe some people will hop on. If not, then y'all can always catch the replay. If you are watching the replay, please hashtag replay and let me know where you're watching from so that I can reply to the comments and say hi to you. So if you don't know me, my name is Ashley Janae, and I am a feminine love and dating coach for women. So my primary focus is working with women who are successful and professional, and they have every area of their lives kind of ironed out. Many of them are moms. So, they have their kids are well taken care of, their career, they're educated, so on and so forth, but they have not quite navigated the love department. So they've had a history of failed relationships, maybe they're divorced, or maybe never even been married. And they've been looking for someone for quite some time, but it's been unfruitful, or they keep running into the wrong man. And, or like what I'm going to talk about today, they've been in a situationship or in a stalled relationship for years, and they want to be married. They've let that be known to their partner, and he's not advanced the relationship forward. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I actually just finished watching a video on YouTube for this show called Put a Ring on It. And one of the couples on the show, I guess the premise of the show, I'd never heard of it until I was on YouTube and it just popped up. And it was saying, basically, there were couples where the woman wanted to get engaged, the man didn't. And this show was to basically help decide whether they should go their separate ways or whether he should put a ring on it. Okay. So, first of all, my first thought on that is, you really want this to be motivated by the man. It's okay to express your desire to be married, and it's okay to have a standard for yourself. But if you think about it at the core, like if a man proposes to you because you really, really pressured him into it, you're never going to know if he's fully in it for the right reasons, or if he is doing it to appease you, and that desire to please you will fade away, and his motivation is not truly to be fully committed to you, to be in the marriage. He didn't walk into it with the right mindset, basically. So that's the first thing. So anyway, these couples are trying to figure out if they should be together. The guy is dating other women. The women are dating other men. And why this experiment was so interesting to me is because that is actually how you avoid becoming a placeholder in the first place. Okay, so you really do not want to completely lock in on one particular person, meeting all of your relationship desires and needs if they're not naturally stepping up to do so. Okay. One thing that would motivate a man to step up and meet your relationship needs is either he's motivated to pursue you because he's super attracted to you and he's really feeling you and he almost wants to possess you in a way, like, in a good way though, like possess you, claim you type deal. Or fear of loss. And what can happen in these relationships where couples are together for a long time. One of the couples in the show had been together for 14 years. And she's still advocating for marriage and he's still resistant. I'm not sure. Let me tell you, that's 14 years of her youth. That's 14 years where she could have been married with kids. Granted, they met when they were young, but still. That is a long time to remain committed to somebody, and you want marriage, and he's kind of digging his heels in and backpedaling. So now she's in a compromising position because she loves him. She wants it to be him, but he's not wanting to step up. So the experiment, the way it started is, he's going out on dates with other women. the next episode, I guess she's going to be going on dates with other men. And I tell you this, if, I don't know how the show's going to end, but if she is to be claimed by him, her having options, knowing that she has options and utilizing those, that will be the way to do it. Okay? Nothing helps a man decide that he needs to go ahead and step up, claim you, make an honest woman out of you, so on and so forth, like realizing he may lose you. He may lose you to a man that's not afraid to do so. He may lose you to a man who's maybe treating you better or pursuing you more or impressing you more. Men are natural competitors. They have that gladiator warrior spirit about them. So if there's competition, they will be activated to win, and you are the prize. So they will be activated to win you. But what a lot of women do is they set their sights on the particular man, and time goes by, and we all know that there are natural milestones and checkpoints in relationships, and the relationship is not progressing. So if you've been in the same stage for 6 and 7 years, your relationship is not progressing. There's a natural order. There's a natural flow. So if you're not exchanging keys to homes, if you're not making plans, if you're not traveling together, if you're not meeting family members, if you're not talking marriage, things like that, those are milestones when a commitment is advancing. So if the commitment is not advancing, that tells you something. There's a reason why the man is not advancing the relationship. Men control the stage and pace of the relationship. Women, what we have is the power of influence. So we can influence him deciding, okay, I need to move this forward with her, or I'm super attracted to her, I'm super drawn to her, I really enjoy being in her presence, I just feel at peace, I feel like I can be myself, I want to be around her more. These are the things that we can control. But it really is true what they say about men being the head. So men are the head, but women are the neck. So even though we're not the head and we don't always decide the direction, we have the power of influence to turn the head in the direction that we want. And that's not done by nagging, dropping hints, throwing a fit. A lot of these women were persistently asking and putting a lot of pressure on the men in the show to propose to them. And one of them said, that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it, when I decide to. I want to do it of my own free will, of my own motivation, not because you're pressuring me to. So he didn't want her to throw a big fit, and then the next day he walk up with a ring. That didn't sound ideal to him, which we get it, but we can also get impatient because we have a biological clock, or we envisioned our lives being different. We want to be married. We want the relationship to go to the next level. We see our girlfriends getting married, or, we're just ready to have that moment. But again, I bring it back to the power of utilizing your options. Knowing that you have options is key, is number one. I mean, so many women who are in these stalled situationships, and they are afraid to date other men, to talk to other men, to even consider other men, because they feel like they're not being loyal. So what I say to this is, you want to really watch the commitments that you get into, okay? Don't just accept an offer for exclusivity if your needs are not being met. What needs look like is you have needs for how often you would like to communicate with a man, how often you would like to see a man, how often you would like to go out on dates or go to each other's home, calls, texts, things like that. That's kind of how it starts. So if you become exclusive with a man who's not even calling you as often as you would like, or texting you good morning if that's what you want to make those things known before you accept the offer of exclusivity, because then at that point you are accepting something that's not acceptable to you, and you're going to be complaining, and complaining is commitment repellent. It expresses that you're turned off, that you're dissatisfied, and There may be times where a man is motivated to try to please you when you are expressing dissatisfaction, but what actually ends up happening is they get disheartened, and it's like you're never happy. You're always complaining. There's always something they're not doing right. They do one thing and then you have another complaint. So you really want to try to minimize the complaining. It's not attractive. It doesn't help things move forward. It actually can stall things. So don't get into a relationship that you already know you're going to be complaining about stuff. If a man's asking you to be exclusive, but he's not meeting those needs, you need to make it known what they are. And then you always need to stay in observer mode. So you need to always be checking and keeping an eye on the flow of communication between the two of you. If the pursuit has kind of fallen back and it's for more than a short amount of time, you might want to reconsider exclusivity at that point. Always remain in control of yourself and your love life. Okay, you don't get to control how that particular relationship goes, but you can control if you have all your eggs in one basket when it comes to this man, especially if you're not getting what your must-haves are. And you want to always have that power to walk away. There's so much power in a woman knowing that she can walk away and she will be fine. She will meet somebody else. She'll be okay. She will find love, that this is not her one and only chance with this particular man, especially if he's not showing up, he's not pursuing, he's not claiming, he's not advancing the relationship, and you kind of feel like you're on the back burner or you're on ice, on hold. That's not God's destiny for you. That's not what you're relegated to, that you just have to wait around for him to get it together, for him to feel motivated to make you his wife, if that's what you want. That's not what you have to accept, but you have to know that mentally. You have to have the mindset that if I need to walk away in order to preserve my self-esteem, in order to find a healthy relationship where I'm meeting his needs, he's meeting my needs, and where I feel good about myself, then that's what you need to do. You don't always have to cut the man off completely, but it is something to consider if you want to step back. So basically saying, I will date you, but I'm also going to date others. It's easiest to do this before you ever accept exclusivity. So don't be quick to jump into something because it has a title, especially if you haven't surveyed, are all of your needs being met? And then don't be afraid to survey it again 3 months in, 6 months in. Like, are you still seeing him regularly? And part of that, knowing that you're not asking for too much and that it is reasonable, is being full inside. So when you have a full life and you're full inside and you have stuff going on that you enjoy, you have friends, you have hobbies, you have, your career or your business or whatever going on, something that's really lighting you up that you enjoy doing, then you will know that you're not being needy. When women don't have a lot going on and they make a relationship the end all be all for them, they don't know if they're being needy, and that can run a man off because he could actually be giving you a healthy amount of attention and time, but you just have nothing else going on. So you want all of his attention and time, and he happens to have a life. Men usually have a life. So you end up competing with his priorities that are already established because he's, generally like a healthy individual in terms of trying to balance relationship and the rest of his life. If you don't have that going on, you will be clingy, you will be needy, and it will run men off. And I have a couple comments. I'm honestly working on this and about to get out and socialize. Yes, Tiffany, that is important. I was just talking about being willing to walk away and the power in that. Because men control access to relationship in terms of it having a title, in terms of proposal, in terms of saying, okay, let's be exclusive. We women, we generally do not control that. We have the power to answer yes or no, but we can't establish it. Men establish it. Okay, just like in our country, traditionally, men are the ones that propose. They are the ones that control access to that. We control access to sex, and we control when babies are born. So we each gender has something that the other one would like to be able to control, but really can't. So marriage and establishing relationship is one that women, we would love to be able to say, okay, I like you, so this is going to be it. This is going to be us. We're going to be committed, but we don't control that. 9 times out of 10, we're ready before the man is. So you got to watch that. And instead of finding yourself putting pressure on a guy, if you notice that you're ahead of him, if you notice you're wanting the relationship to advance more than he is, that's when you need to pull back and say, let me survey my options. Let me get back on the app. Let me be open while I'm out to men approaching me and meeting somebody new. Let me fill my life with more fun and interesting things to do, because your desperation and your latching on to a man before he is there can stifle that connection. Anytime someone is on you like white on rice and the feeling is not mutual, it is repelling. I don't know if you all have ever heard of the runner-chaser dynamic, but it basically says that there's one partner typically that is running, and then there's one that's typically chasing. And because the one that is chasing is running after the one that's running, they continue to run. And that becomes the dynamics of your relationship. One is always leaning forward, one is always leaning back. It works best when women are the ones leaning back. Okay, because we can lean back and lean into our own lives, but still be warm and still keep the connection alive, but have a little bit of mystery. Okay, have like that feminine allure, that thing that makes him excited to pursue you and curious about you, and I want to know more, just he's leaning in, he's pursuing, and you are more so the one like, oh, well, being a little bit short with your words, not talking too much, not telling everything all in one sitting, but practicing that feminine allure that draws somebody in. It's good to have a little bit of mystery because it keeps things exciting and, fresh. And like I said, it piques his curiosity that makes him want to know more, want to talk to you again, want to see you again. So if we utilize that power, you can draw a man in to the point where he's ready to say, okay, I want to focus all of my attentions on you. I'm into you. But if you are feeling like you're more into him than he is into you, you will likely find yourself chasing, doing little subtle things like, hey, so you didn't text me good morning. It's been a week since I've seen you. I saw you were on Facebook and you were liking stuff, but, you didn't respond to my text. Or, it's been all day and I haven't heard from you. What's going on? Are you okay? Are you alive? Did you get in a car accident? We think crazy things like that. Like, oh, because he hasn't texted me, something must be wrong with him. And 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5, 9.7 times out of 10, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's busy. He's in his life. He's doing his thing. He's doing him. And you have stopped focusing on the life that you have built outside of dating, and you are now hyper focused on him and what he's doing. Or you don't have much of a life built outside of dating, and you've kind of paused your life because you want a partner. But the way that you attract a high quality partner is having a high quality life already, being fulfilled, and it sounds cliche, but not really needing one. You know that you need and have a place for the masculine in your life, but you are not desperate for it. And you really have to embody the energy of, I have options. There are hundreds of men that would love to date and wife me, and you really have to feel that inside. Okay, because that gives you that confidence that's attractive to men. And it also activates, like I said earlier, the competitor, the warrior in him that wants to fight and win you as the prize. Nobody wants someone that no one else wants, unless they want you simply for their own purposes. Like I said, like a placeholder, or they're utilizing or using you for something. But when you talk about a woman that a man is proud to show off, that he's like throwing you over his shoulder and like walking off like, yeah, I got her, like that is a woman that is desired. And he doesn't necessarily even have to see that a bunch of men desire you. Are you carrying that energy of, I have other options? I have other men I can talk to. I have other men I can go out with. If you're not calling me, who knows who may be calling me or booking me for this weekend? Who knows who may be trying to get my attention while I'm at the gas station? Like, you got to remember your desirability as a feminine woman and not get caught up in trying to convince or coerce a man into claiming you. That's not how it happens. And if it does happen that way, then watch out, because those are usually short-lived. If the motivation is not coming from deep within him and it's not innate, then likely it's not rooted in the right things, and you'll see shaky commitment, or you'll see he's still acting like he wants to be single even though you're in an exclusive relationship. Or you may see him saying later, I thought that I felt this way about you. I thought that I was in love. I thought you're really great. I love you. I love spending time with you. You're great to talk to, blah, blah, blah. But he's not feeling that spark, that thing that's missing, that makes him feel like, you're mine. This is exactly where I want to be. We're like two puzzle pieces. We just fit together. Like, I can't see my life without you. You are my safe place, so on and so forth. So I titled this video, Don't Be a Placeholder, because when you put yourself on ice or put yourself on hold for a man that's not sure about you, that's what ends up happening. And so many women wake up and it's been years and the man is not advancing the relationship, and truthfully, he has no intentions to advance the relationship. Now, there are things you can do that will increase the likelihood that he will, if that's how he truly feels about you, but you have to disrupt the pattern. You can't continue on in the relationship how you've been for years and think that one day he's just going to wake up and say, you know what, we should get a place. You know what, I'm ready to marry you now. Like, no, something has to change. You have to change and your dynamics have to change. And that's when things will kind of mix up in his brain and he'll start reconsidering how he sees you and how he sees the relationship. Men know what they need to do, and men know that you want to be married. You've probably dropped so many hints or just said it directly over the years. Men know that that's what women want. And naturally, if a man wants to possess and own and claim a woman, that's what they want too. They want to make sure that you're going to be all theirs. But if there's no fear of you going anywhere, if you're just content accepting crumbs or seeing him once a month, late night, you come over at 11, we do what we do, and then you leave early the next morning, or whatever the case is, he does not get motivated from that place. It will likely just continue, and not to hit you with like fear tactics or anything, but sometimes what happens is you're in that situationship and he happens along somebody, a woman who is confident, who is different, who activates that pursuer in him, and she's able to get what you've been wanting for so long out of him because she brought different energy to the table. It's not even always about looks or like, what does she have that I don't have? It's about, you got to see that what you've been doing is not working for you and you got to switch it up. You got to change. You got to bring something different to the table because you already know what the results have yielded. You've already seen it. You've been in a situationship. You're not claimed. The relationship's not moving forward. It's been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to ask yourself, is this what I want? And at that point, having a direct conversation, making demands, ultimatums, all of that kind of goes out the window because your actions have shown that you will stay and you will accept what's been given, regardless of what you want. You're going to have to speak with your actions. And a lot of women are afraid to do that because they're afraid they're going to lose him. They're afraid that, maybe he was just on the verge of a breakthrough. He was just about to go ring shopping. He's not, because you're in a cycle and the energy is the same. He's the same, you're the same. There is no change that's going to magically happen. That's a way that you can delude yourself. And actually, it's a way we talk ourselves into not doing the thing that we know we need to do because it's scary. So telling yourself, oh, it'll get better, that's like saying, oh, I'll lose the weight, but you don't change your diet. You don't start exercising. I'll get the promotion, but you haven't done anything to make yourself more marketable. You're not applying for jobs. You're not doing anything to help that along. And talking to him about it is not helping it along because you've been talking about it. You've raised concerns, you've had long talks, you may have even broken up momentarily over it, you fought over it. Talking to him is not it. Women talk, men communicate through actions. You're going to have to change your actions. You're going to have to embody a different energy in order to get that result. But if you find yourself in the position of being a placeholder, stop now. If you want to be a wife, if you want to be in something committed, if you want to be living together, if you want to have a ring on your finger, if you want something solid, you are going to have to stop doing what you're currently doing. You are going to have to change the energy that you're embodying, what you believe you can have. You are going to have to be open to other men because that is the only way he is called higher, to step up and be that man that you want, the man that's going to claim you. Right now, that's not the energy he's in. He's in the energy of the man that's just enjoying you and your company and the benefits of you right now. He's not in the energy of, I gotta, stick my flag in this, claim this as my territory. There's no need, there's no motivation. And you whining and complaining about it is not motivation. So I go into different ways that you can motivate the man. Aside from, like I said, the number one thing would be being open to other men and actually dating other men, mixing, mingling, pulling back from the commitment if your needs aren't getting met. Like, nothing activates a man like that. But there's also other little subtle things that you can do. Everything has more to do with you than it does with him, because we cannot control what the man does. But again, as women, we are the neck. So we have the power of influence. We have the power to spark a thought in a man's mind without actually saying those exact words, but we did something a little different, or we've stepped our game up. We are utilizing our options. We're less available. We're not chasing anymore. Things like that make a man sit up and take notice if he is going to. And I will say, sometimes he doesn't, but what you want to know from that is he was never going to. If you're presenting your best self, if you're out there, you're on the market, and there's a risk of him losing you and he's not activated to claim you, he's not invested and he's not in it. And you want to know that too, because you don't want to spend 20 years waiting around for somebody to propose or to claim you and they never had the intention to. Their love and affinity for you was never strong enough to motivate that, and you were waiting around for nothing. You're going to want to know that. It may be scary. It may be an unpleasant reality to face, but what's worse? Facing that in the moment and then knowing that your forever man is still out there and that you need to be open and available for him to step into your life, or to feel like you wasted your time, to feel like you were just a placeholder, to feel like you were just part of the rotation, that you weren't the only one, that he never had intentions of doing what you were hoping that y'all were headed towards. You want to know that. We only have so much time where we're young. If you want to have kids, as women, our biological clocks are ticking, and you don't want to waste your time. And you want to be in a happy reciprocal relationship where you're loved and being loved and giving love. You don't want to sell yourself short. And one of the things that motivates me to do this work is seeing so many women who are successful and dynamic and smart and strong and great moms be alone and be sad that they're alone and feel like there's a part of their lives that they're not experiencing because they don't have a partner in a happy, healthy relationship to enjoy their doing a lot of firsts on their own that they would have preferred to do with a partner. Traveling out of the country, buying homes, sending their kids to college, having kids, raising kids. There's so many things that they want to experience as part of a partnership, and they may or may not be admitting that to themselves, but we as humans, we're not built to be alone. Okay, we are meant to be part of a tribe. We are meant to be around others. We are meant to share our lives and be in relationship with other people. And one of the most special relationships is the partnership, the romantic partnership. So if you want to experience the fullness of that, and the things you've been doing haven't been working, you're going to want to change your approach. Because again, you already know what the things you've been doing or what comes naturally, you already know what that's netted you, and you don't have time to waste. You don't. There's men who are, first of all, women outnumber men in the world. So there's that. And also men are coming off the market every day. There are women who are waking up to this, who are, up in their attraction and stepping into their femininity and getting alluring, and they're getting them in. And again, not to give you fear tactics or scare tactics, but if you want to be a woman in a relationship with a man that leads to marriage or commitment or whatever, then you're going to want to do what you have to do now. Don't delay. There's no reason to. Be willing to step up, be willing to face the music, and make the changes you need to so that you can have that life you want. It is totally possible for you. There is totally multiple someones out there for you, and I'll talk about that in a later video, because that whole idea of the one will have you chasing somebody that is not ready, willing, or whatever. And there are multiple people out there that you can work a relationship with, because a relationship is a choice. You decide you want it to work, and you do what you got to do to make it work. So but yeah, I want all women, if that's what they desire, to have that. I was a woman who was single for 10 years, raising my son, always wanted a relationship, could never get anything to advance past a couple of dates, wondered why. Then I started studying this, and I started working with coaches. I started reading books. I started really becoming a student of healthy relationships, because I didn't see many of those growing up. I was raised by a single mom who was raised by a single mom also. So yeah, it can become a pattern, and we don't want to carry that around like a badge of honor. If you want to be a wife, you want to be in a committed relationship, that's honorable. That's not something to hide or to feel ashamed of admitting. You just need to do what it's going to take. We get that when it comes to work. We get that when it comes to like home ownership or achieving any other type of accomplishment. But sometimes we're really hard-headed when it comes to love. And if you don't naturally have that knack for it, that's okay. But you need to figure out what you need to do so that you can get what you want. And it's just that simple. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to hop on and talk about that because it was really discouraging, to see the woman who'd been with the man for 14 years and was just trying to get a simple, what we would consider a normal advancement of the relationship, especially at that point, 15 years, and he's still unsure about proposing. He's still iffy. He's still hemming and hawing. Meanwhile, her youth is going out the window, and she's frustrated. She's no longer being nice and pleasant to be around because she's frustrated, because her needs aren't getting met, and she's unhappy about that. And in that state, she's definitely not motivating him to want to step up and claim her, because she's not pleasant to be around. So she's not building more and more attraction. She's actually stifling the attraction, being in that dissatisfied state. And she feels she has no control over her love life. And you do. I want you to know you do. If you take nothing away from this video, know that you do. You just have to step into what your power is. And your power is your femininity and knowing that you have options. So I will leave you all with that. If you have any questions, please DM me. I have my group mastermind, Flex Your Femininity, where we talk about stuff like this. We do exercises. I do live trainings in there. And I also do one-on-one support with the group members. So you can DM me. We can look at your specific situation. I can look at your dating profile. I can kind of talk you through an interaction with the man, or how to approach a situation or a conversation you want to have. I've worked with women who have been in these 6-7 year situationships and nothing's advancing. I've worked with women who are just jumping back into the dating world, or women who are in committed relationships, but they're exclusive, but it's not going any further. So all stages, all walks of life, I can kind of help guide you, share the knowledge that I've learned and the resources that I have, books. We got crystals, oils, astrology, people that read birth charts to look at relationship compatibility. We do prayer candles. We bring the divine, because God is a key. Let me tell you that. Doing anything involving any aspirations that you have in life, you're going to want God in it, because that supernatural turn of events, that supernatural turning a man's heart or softening a man's heart, creating opportunities, giving you favor, all of that is unmatched. So but we have all of that there, and I'd love to serve you. So if you have any questions, DM me. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.